Good morning, grade 3. So, in our last session, we learned how to differentiate between right angles and other angles. So, today we are going to solve page 237. Please open your activity book on page 237 and we are going to start solving question number 1 together. Now, question number 1. Complete the sentences with a smaller, greater, or equal to right angles. Okay, so as we can see here, we are going to compare those angles with a right angle. So, as we learned before, right angle is a line that is perpendicular to other line and it forms 90 degrees. So we are going to compare those angles with this right angle. And as we said before, the amount of turn between those lines is the amount of the angle. So here in A, is this amount of turn between those two lines smaller or greater than the right angle? What do you think? Is it smaller or greater? It is smaller. Good job. So we write here smaller. I'm sorry for my big font. Smaller than. For sure make your font smaller. Okay. Now, guys, what do you think of part B? Is this amount of turn between those two lines, is it smaller or greater or equal to right angle? What do you think? It is smaller. Good job. I want to ask you an extra question for you guys. Now, since those two angles are smaller than the right angle, what do we call them, those two? We call them acute. Good job. Acute angles. Now let's move on for part C. Part C, this angle is greater, smaller, or equal to right angle. Look at the amount of turn between those two lines. Is it smaller or greater? It is greater, so this angle is greater than the right angle. And what do we call this angle? We call it obtuse. Good job. Again, I'm sorry for my big font. Make it smaller. Okay, now we're going to solve part D and E in the next page, page 238. Let's start solving them. Now again, let's draw a right angle. And this is the amount of turn. This is the right angle. By the way, I told you once at class that we put a symbol similar to a square to the right angle. Why do you think that? That's right, because square has all angles of the square are right angles. So let's move on to D. Is it greater, smaller, or equal to a right angle? What do you think? The amount of turn here. It is equal. Good job. So what do we call this type of angles? We call it right angles. Now, part E is this amount of turn between those two lines is smaller or greater or equal to? It is smaller. And what do we call it? We call this angle acute angle. So in this lesson we solved question number 1, page 237, and continue to solve the other parts in 238. Now, please solve question number 2. This is your homework for today, and see you next time.